Hi everyone, it's Lisa Moore here, your instructor for this 8-week online English 102. So, there are 9 of you left standing. I do believe we started with 24 students and now we are down to 9. So give yourselves a pat on the back for still being in this class. I know that it is a really rough class to do in 8 weeks, so I'm really proud of all of you. So today, paper 4 is due, and I plan to get that back to you right away. I'll give you like a 24-hour turnaround on that, so that you can get working on your final exam. Your final exam paper is due next Wednesday by midnight, and that is it. If it's in at 3 in the morning on Thursday, I'm not accepting it. So try not to take it too close to the wire. Today is, what is today? Today is Wednesday, so it's due 1 week from today. If I get all of that stuff back to you, that's almost a full week to work on that final paper. So don't put it off until the day that it's due. Let's talk about your final paper. So in this class, what we've done is take a really big paper. We've broken it down into chunks. So you did paper 1. And paper 1 was an outline that looked at the format that you will follow for the greater paper. Paper 2 was where you wrote a very long introduction to the paper. This is where you gave background information, you discussed the context for this issue, anything that's proving that this is an argument that needs to be tackled and explaining the background on the topic went in paper 2. That one should have been chock full of research. Paper 3, I finished scoring this week, and this is the one where you actually argue your thesis. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little concerned. Sorry, I cannot seem to keep my hair out of my eyes today. I'm a little concerned about everybody's paper number 3. So let's talk about what it should look like. Paper 3 is the heart of your paper. You should open with a thesis statement. And a thesis statement is not a research question. The research question was where you asked yourself a question about this topic and you sought research to answer it. After you've done all your research, you should know what you think the answer is to that question, and that's going to bring about your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is where you say, you take a side. And you have to take a side. You can't be a little bit on one side and a little bit on another side. And I've been telling you guys that all semester. Probably individuals. So some of you have been told that all semester. So if you were writing about school funding, maybe your research question was, how do chronically underfunded schools affect education or maybe the economics of a state, something like that. So now, like, let's say you've done all your research and you're like, holy smokes, Arizona schools are really poor and they perform at like the bottom of the nation. So then you would say, your thesis would be Arizona schools must be funded at least the rate they were funded in 2008, or something like that. Like we must return school funding in Arizona, something like that. Do you see how you would take a stand and then you would argue it? All right, this is just getting worse and worse and worse. Everything's mirrored on the screen, so I can't even figure out which way my bangs are supposed to go. So in paper number 3, that should have been the first line of the paper, the thesis. I didn't need any background. I didn't need any explanation or preamble because you already did that. You did that in paper 2. So paper 3, you open with that thesis statement, and then the instructions said for you to preview your main arguments. So if I'm saying Arizona schools need to have their funding returned to the levels of 2008, then I would say my 3 main reasons, because this would fix, this, and it would improve that, and then positively affect this other thing. So I'd have my 3 main points. And then that's all the body is. You tackle each of those main points and you argue them. You need to have topic sentences. This is a college writing class. You should know what a topic sentence is by now. If that like really stumps you, send me a message. I'm really happy to help you gain that skill if you don't have it already. And I guarantee you, if you don't have it already, I've been writing comments back to you in your essay, and I've been giving you examples of how you might do a thesis topic sentence. So paper 3 should be super duper argument based. I should see a ton of transitions that are argumentative, like foremost, furthermore, however, in fact, for example, another example. I want to see those types of things that are logically gluing an argument together. Don't tell me about stuff, argue something. You know how to argue. You know how to, beg a teacher for a better grade or ask a parent for money. You know how to argue. You could do it. We all did it. So that was paper 3. And now you're on to paper 4, which you're giving to me today by midnight. I've already seen a couple of people's paper number 4. And this one is the counter argument. And what you should do is think about who is against your stance. So if I'm continuing with the topic of education, I might talk about a certain group of lawmakers. Okay, that's my objector. I'm naming the objector. Or maybe I might also talk about, who else might be against it? Homeschoolers. I don't know. Like maybe they wouldn't want more funding in public school because they need more support in the homeschool arena. I don't know. Because I would have done that research, I would have found the objectors. So you need to have at least 2 counter arguments. You need to name who is making that counter argument and give research to prove that that's a real counter argument and you're not just making it up. And after you've given them time and you've presented their counter argument, you offer your rebuttal. And maybe you have to make some acknowledgments. Maybe you need to say, yes, this piece is true. However, here's how it actually pans out. Or, they have a point here, but in the grander scheme of things, this is what's more important. And you do that twice. Counter argument, rebuttal, counter argument, rebuttal. So I'm really looking for about 4 paragraphs in paper number 4. And there is a word requirement too. I think you need to be over 500 or 600 words. It's listed in the assignment. Like I said, I'll get that back to you within 24 hours. Once you have feedback on all of your papers, it's time for you to start working on paper 5. And let's talk about what that's going to look like. You're going to take all of the papers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to put them into one big document. I don't want to see them, it shouldn't look like 4 papers stuffed together with different headings and, spaces. It should look like one long paper. And if you need to work on smoothing out the transition with some transitions or something, then go for it. When you put them all together, you're then going to add a conclusion. But you're not done now. You're not done yet. What you should do is go back and look at the feedback I gave you on all 4 papers and integrate that feedback. So if in your outline I said, you need to write in complete sentences, or you have these grammar issues, or you didn't address this part of the outline, the structure was given to you, you need to make sure you use that structure. You need to go back in and fix those things. In paper number 2, if I said you're not giving enough background information, you need more research, you need to answer these questions, or something like you need to break paragraph, topic sentences. I gave you lots of writing feedback. You need to take that feedback and integrate it. Paper number 3, if I said you don't have a thesis statement, you don't have topic sentences, where is your research for this? Your in-text citations are incorrect. Fix it. And then the same thing for paper 4. I'm going to get that paper, I'm going to go over it with you, I'm going to tell you the most important things I'm looking for, and I'm going to ask you to fix the things that need attention. Before paper 5, you need to fix it. So here's how I'm going to grade your paper. You have a rubric. You could take a look at the rubric and see exactly how I'm going to apply the score, but I want you to know the process I go through. I've seen every one of your papers. So what I do is when, student Bob turns in his final paper to me, I pull up his gradebook and I look at the feedback I gave for paper 1, I look at the feedback I gave for paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. And if I look at Bob's paper and I see that he didn't make any of the structural changes or the critical thinking changes that I asked him to make, then he's not going to do very well in that paper. I don't have time to give feedback and have somebody not accept it. So if you paste them all together and you don't make changes, you're not going to do very well on the final exam. As a reminder, all those little papers were worth 50 points. So that felt like a lot throughout the semester. Your final exam is worth 200 points. So some of you are emailing me about, how can I bring up my grade? Well, knock that final paper out of the park. You've got a whole week to get it together. Some options for you. The Writing Center on the GCC campus is outstanding. And if you go to the CTLE webpage at GCC, there are some links to some online tutoring options. Make sure that if you use an online tutor, you let them know the requirements of the paper so that they are able to help you. So everything by Wednesday at midnight. I will accept nothing Thursday morning in the middle of the night. If you do that, it's a 0. Make sure that every one of you has completed every Odyssey, whether it was for points or not. That those are major competencies in this class that show that you know how to research. So you have to have all of those done before the final paper, and yes, I will check. Other than that, I'm really proud of you guys. You final 9, applause, you're almost done. So I'm here grading and trying to finish up my classes as well. If you need anything, just shoot me a message in Canvas and I will get back to you and give you whatever help I can. All right, you can do it. I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.